Hey there, Todd Burrier from toddburrier.com, and today we're going to talk about the 5 key things you can do that will make it such that people want to follow you, right? That's really huge, right? People don't have to follow you as you're growing an organization, right? They have the right, right, because they're volunteers, they have the right to get involved and not listen to a word that you say, right? They have that right. You don't want that to be the case. You want them to want to follow you because that gives you the chance to impact their life, right? That's the beautiful thing about sponsoring someone is the minute they sign up, that's when you really can have an opportunity to change someone's life. Ray Higdon, I heard Ray Higdon say this recently. It's right. It was so right on the money. So prospecting someone never changed their life, right? It's only sponsoring someone that gives you the ability to then impact them and make a change in their life. So just as a quick review, if you haven't seen this before, so leadership is influence. That's what the I stands for. And influence is the purposeful application of credibility. That's what the C stands for. And then your level of credibility is driven by your competency and your character, okay? And so that's the short version. I do a much longer version of this, obviously, when I'm teaching groups, because this is a platform everything in your life works off of. And so how do you get into the situation as you're starting out so that someone wants to follow you? There are 5 things that you easily can do, right? And anyone can do them. So anyone can put themselves in a position where their new recruit will want to follow them, okay? So their new recruit's going to ask them questions anyway to start, and that's when leadership starts, day 1. So number 1 is demonstrate competency in the core competencies. Now, competency is a big axis, okay? And up to about here are the core competencies, right? So there are 7 of those. Core competencies there are 7. That's approaching for your product, approaching for your or service, approaching for your business, presenting your product or presenting your business, following up, training, and customer service. Those 7 core competencies, right, can build you as big a business as you want from an actual activity perspective. So you don't have to worry about demonstrating leadership competencies. They are massive, right? Matter of fact, you should get my book, Leading with Heart, and that will help you understand what some of the leadership competencies are. Not to mention, it will give you a lot of great training for some of the key ones. But in this case, you only need to master the core competencies, right? Because that's actually how you got someone to the table, right? Which is also why it's great to use tools that allow someone to see that they could do what you did, right? And not, if you're too spectacular, someone will think, wow, I can't be that good. And that's important that people believe they can do what you're doing. So you demonstrate competency. That's not really that difficult. It's not difficult to make an approach contact and to nicely share an information tool and to follow up. And anybody can do that. That's the beauty of our industry. So that's number 1. Number 2 is be knowledgeable about your company and be a resource. And this is a really important one. You don't need to know everything, right? You don't need to know all the inner workings of your marketing plan. You don't need to know all the widgets that make your service so good. You don't need to know all the ingredients that make your product so good. That stuff, that's all features. It's not necessary, right? You do need to know where that information lives, right? That's what you need to know, is where it lives so that you can point somebody to it, right? Because then you are being a resource. And you're not having to worry about being an expert, because that would be a waste of your time. And the time you would be spending to become a master at that information, you could have recruited 20 people, right? So it's all about building your business, not building your bank of information of useless facts that 95% of people won't care about, right? So you need to be knowledgeable about your company in general, but be a resource for people so that they know when they come to you that they'll know where to go next. And then they'll know how to get that information and they'll never have to come to you again. Number 3 is demonstrate integrity and authenticity. And that is so hugely important. I think the goal is transparency. To me, that's the goal, is that someone says, hey, I know exactly who this human being is. I can completely trust them that they are who they are. And that's a really powerful place to get. So make sure you are constantly demonstrating that and protecting it. So that's number 3. Number 4, and you know what, and by the way, let me back up for a second. And being authentic means that you're admitting that you're not perfect, because perfect ain't duplicatable. Perfect isn't connectable or relatable, right? So being authentic is and having integrity is in the whole shooting match. It's letting people know, you know what, I'm not really very good at that. You know, like me, I'm not very technical. I'm not very handy. I mean, there's so many things that I'm not good at, and I have no problem saying, hey, I struggle in social situations, or I'm not a master at that, right? I'm not good with this. I'm pretty good at that because I work at it, right? So you got to be real about that stuff, and when you make mistakes, you got to admit them. I mean, all that stuff matters. So number 4 is to be responsive and available. Right? Be responsive and available. I'm not going to tell you what your time frame should be. For me, it's same day. If you reach out to me, I will get back to you that same day, 99% of the time. If for some reason I can't, I'll let you know that I can't. But I'm very responsive, especially always in my career. Was always very responsive to people who were just getting started right away, so they knew that I would be there for them. But also put some boundaries around time. And it's important for you to do that because you need to be investing in your family. You need to be investing in yourself, right? So for me, my teams know, right? They know that don't try to get me involved in something before 10 a.m., typically. And certainly don't even consider trying to reach me earlier than that, earlier than 9, because I'm in the gym and doing my own personal development stuff. I do all that stuff in the morning, and that's well known, right? So you can't reach me then. I'm not going to schedule something then. And it's known. If I'm going to go out of town or spend time with my family, it's known. I let people know, here's when I'm not going to be available. If I'm traveling, here's when I'm not going to be available, right? So, and there are times when you totally unplug. I don't take my cell phone to bed with me, and you shouldn't take yours to bed either, right? First of all, you're not going to get good sleep. And second of all, what kind of example are you setting? And I already know some of you think, hey, I want people to think, I'm always there. I'm always working. That might be one way to think about it. But, there is a lifestyle piece, right? You should work your face off to build your business because it's worth it. You're going to do that no matter what you do. But this one, it's really worth it, right? You can work your face off to build lots of things that don't have residual income, right? And then you don't have a period where you can really take off for a while. But you also have to demonstrate lifestyle in building it. And who wants to think that they should be on call 24 hours a day? Who wants to think that? I mean, that's not any fun, right? So unplug, right? And for the sake of yourself, unplug at night, right? Unplug for periods, right? Every quarter, take a few days off and go away or do something. But you gotta be responsive and available while you're doing the work. And people should know the parameters around your time. But at the same time, you got to be smart. Right? You got to be smart about taking care of yourself. And then number 5 falls right in line with that. Set an example, right? Set an example. Whatever your products and services are, they should be all over the place and visible in your house, right? I mean, that's just a fact. You should be demonstrating the work ethic. You shouldn't be saying to people, hey, you need to do this, but you're not willing to do it, right? I mean, I can teach every kind of contacting there is. You name it, I can teach it. Everything from walking into businesses to walking up to strangers to making cold calls. Do I like a lot of that stuff? Absolutely not. All right, I'm a pure introvert who doesn't like rejection. Right, so I don't do those things day to day as a key part for my business because they're not my most enjoyable way to work. And I learned how to become very effective in other ways too. But I learned those things so that when I sponsored someone who wanted to work that way, I could authentically, honestly, tell them what works because I'd done it, right? So I made myself do stuff that was so far out of my comfort zone so that I could serve the broadest amount of people, right? That's a reality. So you can't be telling someone that this is how to do it, right? If you've never done it. And so work ethic wise, you got to do everything, right? You got to do everything just so you know how to do it. Right? And you can settle into the things that are your best and your favorite and the way that you like to work. And then, of course, treat people well. Treat them kindly. Treat them with respect. Treat them with the respect that they deserve. Right? I recently heard an incredible woman. just an incredible woman on a stage, and she said, I am not, I don't look like what I've been through. That's what she said. I don't look like what I've been through. That's powerful, man. That's powerful. I don't even know why all of a sudden that popped into my brain. But you treat people well because they don't look like what they've been through either. You have no idea. Everybody's got a story. Everybody is valuable. Everybody can teach you something, and everybody can build a business. And so you should treat people well anyway, but maybe there's a couple little added incentives for why you should, right? And then serve them. Serve them, serve them, serve them, serve them. You cannot go wrong. So those are 5 ways that you can do to build into a situation where people want to follow you. Demonstrate competency, be knowledgeable and be a resource, demonstrate integrity and authenticity, be responsive and available, and set the example. I hope those were helpful in growing and generating your leadership. If you ever struggle or have people in your team that struggle with what to say, make sure you get my free download, 27 phrases at work, that will really, really, really help you. If you want to read more on leadership, get my book, Leading with Heart. It's I know I wrote it, so it sounds self-serving, but it's the best leadership book in the industry. It is. So, having said that, it's up to you to try it. All right, so anyway, hey, thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a great rest of your day.